Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing Hachsteg's learning of the Pele Yoetz, day number 55. And we're in the chapter of Chavrusa, of a friend, what a real friend is all about. And he writes like this today. V'hine le'inyan dina v'hiro. When it comes to issuing rulings on halachic matters and the like, you have to be those that are apprehensive to give a ruling. And you should never really rule by yourself because maybe you'll make a mistake. And if you have other people around that you consult with, you'll only get like a chip of the beam of punishment, which means you'll only get partial of the punishment if you rendered the wrong decision because you're sharing the mistake with other people. But if you live in a place where there's nobody else around, there's no other Talmid Chacham you can discuss the halacha with, so then be a friend to yourself. What should you do then? Dig deeply into the subject that you are learning. Try to uncover as much information, questions, and answers as you possibly can. Come up with different angles to try to defeat your pshat, your understanding, and your rationale. He should make every effort to prove himself incorrect, and he should seek the error of his reasoning to try to see where he went wrong, so he'll end up eventually arriving at the ultimate truth. And because it is because of that, his righteousness will end up shining forth, and he'll judge an emes din, the absolute judgment that he's supposed to. So too when a person is learning Torah, he has to make every effort that he possibly can to see different angles in that which he's learning. If any question or answer comes to you that seems to be really good, it's like on the mark, you should still put in all effort that you possibly can to disprove yourself. Disprove your question's really not a question, your answer's not really an answer. Why? The more that he argues within himself about the answer or the question, the truth is going to become clear. So the more that you try to deflect what you're saying, and the deeper you go into trying to really understand, why did I say that? Why was I thinking like this? What's this all about? You'll end up arriving at the emes la'amito, the ultimate truth. The greatest benefit of the chavrusas of a good friend, for those that fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu and they contemplate His name, and that they should converse and they should talk to each other, and they should speak about their goals, about their challenges, about their triumphs, about their failures, all the things that a real Eved Hashem is striving for. And this is our obligation, and this is what's best for us, speaking to one another about how we're going to best capitalize on the world of Avodas Hashem that we'd like to live in. They'll give each other eitzah, advice and counsel of what's the best direction, the best path for a person to take. And like it says in Yeshaya Navi, every man will help his friend, and to his brother he will say, be strong, and strengthen ourselves in Avodas Hashem in the service of God. That's what friends are all about. However, this connection and this companionship, this friendship that you're making over here can only be cultivated when people are like-minded. Shavim b'midos u'b'deos, they're equal to a great extent in their midos, in their character, disposition, and their tendencies. Then people can sit together and they will not separate from one another. But it's very hard to find such a thing. To find someone that's really so similar to you that he becomes like a real chaver in Avodas Hashem, not so simple. Im yimse'enu, and if you do find such a friend like that, yechezenu v'lo yarpenu, grab onto him and hold on and don't let go, because it's so invaluable what this chavershaf, what this friendship is going to do for you and even for him. So therefore, you want to take full advantage. Kashem shechaver may be gula, says the Pele Yoetz, it's just like a good friend brings geula, redemption, to a person's life. He helps me to become the better version of myself. So certainly then, on the other hand, any bad friend is going to bring about great harm and terrible things to him. It's impossible that if you have a chavera, a bad friend who's not doing good things, and you're really friendly with that person, it's impossible that they're not going to have an influence on you and impact you. That you're not going to end up copying and doing his actions. If not willingly, if you don't do it willingly, then it's your own honor, and you don't want to be shamed by him because you don't do what he does. And even if you're spared from speaking evil, because you would never do such a thing, nevertheless, you won't be spared from hearing it. This person speaks, who knows what nonsense comes out of his mouth, and therefore, you're not going to be spared. And even if you're spared from doing the wrong things, you don't follow in his ways, but you're supposed to give him techacha, rebuke, and that you're not going to do. Why? Because you'll find it very difficult to do. And that young man will place upon him sadness and sighing when he's punished, meaning I'm going to end up getting punished, God forbid, because I didn't rebuke a person when I could have. And therefore every person should be watch over his children and be careful. If you have the ability to separate them from bad friends, do whatever you can. Put them instead in the company of Talmidei Chachamim. Now, when your children are younger, in our generation, it's somewhat easier to keep them away from the wrong friends. As they get older, teenagers and the like, you're going to have a very unsuccessful time pulling them away from bad friends. You could suggest, perhaps, you could speak about why you don't think this friend is such a good influence on them, but you're not going to have the ability to pull them away unless you want to break your children, Rahman al-Islam. Says the Pele Yoetz, you have to be careful because from bad friends. Bring them amongst Talmidei Chachamim. A person who's with evil friends will become ruined. But someone who goes to talk with the Chachamim, the wise, he will grow wise himself. Nevertheless, if there's no good friend around, then you make your wife your best friend and you seek counsel from her. She also is very good because she knows you. She knows your strengths. She knows your weaknesses. She knows when you do good and how you do good. So therefore, she can be very wise to you. When they wanted to make Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah into the Nasi, into the prince, into the Nasi, the leader of the generation, he was only 18 years old, so he sought counsel with his wife. They knew each other already for a few years when they were married, and she was able to direct him in the right way. If your wife, Chazal say, if your wife is short, bend over and whisper to her. So you should bend over to listen what she has to say, the counsel she wants to give you. Like it says, that she, your wife, is your companion, and the wife of your brisecha, of your covenant, she's going to help you along. So you look for a good chavrusa, you can't find, go off on your own, but it's not good to be off on your own too much, so then at least if you can't find anybody else, you take your wife, and she'll be your guiding light. She'll be the countenance, like Kodesh Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu, listen to your wife, Sarah, she knows what she's talking about. Women know what they're talking about, and you can listen to them, and Be'ez Hashem, a person will find good friends, they'll stay away from the bad ones, they and the wife will grow and shine together, and in that schus, You'll be Zaycha Im Yetz Hashem, to fulfill your mission here in this world, to be the Oved Hashem that you're supposed to be. All the best.